it is weird thinking that there's another year over already, especially considering that I did so many things. It was a year with ups and downs, but mostly ups, packed with adventures, friends, new things, and more. I began my year still in Canada, at winter's camp with a bunch of my friends, counting down till the clock struck 12 and there was nothing left of 2013 except for the memories made. 19 days later, I found myself on a plane back to Germany with only about 2 weeks left to prepare for some really important exams. I guess you could kind of compare them to GCSEs. And I had to write them in German, math, and English. And let's just say I did very well in the English one, and not so much in the other two. But I also had to take them as an oral exam, so kind of like a presentation about a month later, and I rocked all of those, so I guess everything is fine and there's nothing in the way for my A-levels. But this year wasn't just about school, even though there was a lot of it. It also involved a lot of traveling. I went to the Maldives with my parents in spring to soak in the sun and go swimming in crystal clear water. I drove to Berlin with my class to learn about history and basically get soaked in rain. Hopped on a plane with my parents over to Paris to see beautiful buildings and art and of course Disneyland. Shortly before summer, my class went on a 3-day camping trip to Sylt, which is an island above Germany, and it was great. Cold and wet, but mostly great. Then in my summer break, my mom and I made our way to Fuerteventura to just relax for a week, to then, afterwards, head to Cologne to visit the video days and the Gamescom. Video days were great, but there's a lot that they have to work on. And oh my gosh, it was loud. So many fangirls screaming, so much. Gamescom was great as well, but lineups were massive, and if you're under 6 feet tall, you won't see a lot. All those guys are just too tall. And in October, I made my way back to Canada, this time with my mom and dad, to see my friends again and show my parents how I lived there. I decided to start learning how to play the ukulele. I had my Austrian friend Carol living with me for a week in summer to go on adventures together. Then participated at the color run in Hamburg with some of my German friends. But I also had to say goodbye to my best friend Megan because she decided to go to America for a year. I also cut off quite a lot of my hair this year, and then got ombre 4 months later. This year I got to see the Phantom of the Opera with my best friend, the Lion King musical with Carol, and the Blue Man Group with my parents. I also participated in the musical my dance group set up this year. Not on stage, but underneath. I was the one reading the text if one of the actors had trouble remembering theirs. And so I spent most of my time sitting in a tiny box in the ground of the stage. And I also got to spend some time with some really good friends of mine because of it. 3 months after my actual birthday, I finally had the time to celebrate it with my friends. And so I threw a Halloween themed party and everybody came dressed up. I dressed up as Hermione Granger and it was just amazing. But this year was probably also the year where I spent most time on the internet. Of course, to stay in touch with my friends on the other side of the globe, but also to make new friends. I reached 10 subscribers, mostly consisting of my friends in Canada, after about 2 weeks. But more and more of you joined, and we reached a number of 50 in August and passed my goal of 100 on the 24th of December, which was probably one of the most unexpected Christmas presents. I ended the year at a number of 106 subscribers and over 2,300 views on my channel, which is just incredible. Over these 9 months as a creator on YouTube, I got some really lovely comments of you. Also some bad ones, but let's not talk about them. I also started leaving my footsteps all over the internet, I guess. At HappyVlogging on Twitter asks, way to avoid awkward family talk.
HappyVlogging.
HappyVlogging. Lovely Svenja, and her channel is HappyVlogging.
I made Vicky an intro and outro for our channel, met Marcus Butler on Omegle to then take a sneaky selfie and appear in his main channel video and also kind of in his second channel vlog. Oh my god. Commented on videos to get replies from Sprinkle of Chatter and Musical Bethan, and likes from Pointless Blog, Fun for Louie, Ben Brown, and Marcus Butler, and somehow got over 100 likes on some of my comments. No clue why. Somehow managed to get over 170 followers on Tumblr, and a lot of notes on some of my posts. And probably the coolest thing, that Dan and Phil read out my tweet on BBC Radio 1.
And we have one from HappyVlogging that said, after hosting a party, there was blood everywhere. Because someone hurt themselves. Truly looked like a horror movie.
Oh, that's nice and ambiguous right there. We hope that it was like a nosebleed kind of hurt themselves and not a kind of like missing torso kind of hurt themselves.
One more.
I mean, live on radio, Dan and Phil. That's just insane! But most importantly, finding amazing small content creators and making friends on the internet because of common interests and actually feeling like a part of the YouTube community. Shortly before the end of the year, my best friend came home over Christmas and I celebrated it with friends and family and people close to my heart in the frosty season. To then fly to Cologne to celebrate New Year's with the other half of my family. We counted down and now here we are. In the year of self-tying shoes, holograms and hoverboards. But on a more serious note, just in the year 2015. A year with a lot of time and great opportunities ahead of us. And I do have to say that I'm quite excited to see where this one will lead me. I would like to say thank you to so many of you for being so nice and supportive. And I would also like to end this video on a quote I found on the internet by John Lennon. Time you enjoy wasting was not wasted. I love you guys. Have a great year. Bye.